It doesn't feel like it was all that long ago when I talked about Schnellfahrstrecke Köln to Aachen following its big timetable update, and in that video, I remember saying words to the effect of, "It would have been nice if this route got a full remaster." That sort of happened less than a year later, and it may be a free update, but I feel that this, and future remasters, should still be held to a high standard of quality, especially after what we saw on Great Western Express. To be brutally honest, I believe there are some aspects of the Köln to Aachen update that make me wonder if Dovetail Games have any defined standards for what qualifies as a full remaster. As a brief refresher, the Köln to Aachen route was first released in August 2020 as one of 3 core routes in the Trainsim World 2 package. The route coverage runs for 70 kilometres, or around 43 miles, from Köln Hauptbahnhof at the eastern end to Aachen Hauptbahnhof at the western end. Notable landmarks include the enormous cathedral right next to Köln Hauptbahnhof, the Dreigertbrücke Bridge west of Düren, and the Bertscheid Viaduct immediately to the east of Aachen Hauptbahnhof. The base route only includes 2 electric multiple units, namely a 4-car variant of the BR442 Talent 2, primarily for hourly RE9 regional services from Siegen to Aachen, and the BR406 ICE-3M, which runs a 2-hourly Brussels to Frankfurt am Main service. You'll need lots of additional DLC for the timetable mode layers. It's all pretty expensive, but unfortunately that's just the way it is where Trainsim World is concerned. The remaster was released for TSW6 only in February 2026, less than a week after the popular Great Western Express remaster, and the version of Köln to Aachen that's compatible with TSW6 is available on Steam for $43.59 NZD at full price. As for who was behind this remaster, the Steam store credits Foles World, a third-party developer who is also working on the upcoming Rhein-Neosbahn Duisburg to Mönchengladbach route add-on. Apparently, they are also a solo developer, but don't quote me on that. According to the Steam listing, this update complements last year's timetable update by adding TOD4 lighting, new rendering of the overhead wires, better landscape and vegetation textures, although I haven't really noticed many differences from the original route, nice lighting in dense city areas, upgraded signals throughout the route, and improved track shadows. Meanwhile, the Talent 2 and separately sold S-Bahn Köln BR423 have had their displays, FIS, whatever that means, and headlights upgraded to suit the TOD4 lighting, while the Talent 2 also got GSMR textures added in the cab. And here I was, thinking that GSMR was only on UK trains. Unfortunately, this variant of the BR423 still has the refurbished interior, which is inaccurate for the S-Bahn Köln units. Meanwhile, on the ICE-3M, she has had some adjustments to her in-cab screens, and something to do with the AFB speed select as well. Disappointingly, neither the BR423, Talent 2, nor ICE-3M have received passenger announcements, new suspension physics, or guard mode support, and the Köln to Aachen route doesn't have station announcements. Seeing as the Great Western Express route did get the new TSW6 core features, why was the same luxury not wait, it's not even a luxury. Anyway, why were those new features not afforded to the Köln to Aachen route and its accompanying rolling stock? I will keep my previous review of this route public because it has a more detailed overview of the timetable update. In short, it features 260 playable services for the S-Bahn Köln BR423, 27 services for the Talent 2, 23 services for the ICE-3M and additional layers that require Bahnstrecke Bremen to Oldenburg, Nachfolger Dresden, Kinzigtalbahn Frankfurt to Fulda, Hauptstrecke Hamburg to Lübeck, Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr Duisburg to Bochum, Link-Rheinstrecke Mainz to Koblenz, LGV Mira to Rheini, Maintalbahn Aschaffenburg to Miltenberg, Main-Spessartbahn Aschaffenburg to Gemünden, DB BR443 Diesel Shunter, Bahnstrecke Salzburg to Rosenheim, Schnellfahrstrecke Kassel to Würzburg, Railpool BR193 Vectron, Flixtrain Vectron, original DB BR101, not the expert version, DB BR218, and Foslo G6. My first run on the remastered Köln to Aachen route was a nighttime ICE service heading west from Köln Hauptbahnhof. Normally, I don't play TSW services in the dark, but I was still curious to see how the route looked at night with the new lighting. And I don't know about you, but to me, something doesn't look right where the lighting under the overall roof at Köln Hauptbahnhof is concerned. Oh, and there was also this bug involving NPCs trying to board a BR642, although this sort of thing is not isolated to the Köln route. Meanwhile, the night lighting at Aachen Hauptbahnhof looks similarly dark and gloomy to how it does at Köln Hauptbahnhof. I like driving on the Köln to Aachen route from time to time, given the available service variation, but aside from the lack of those new TSW6 core features, there are other areas in which I feel the route could still be improved. Even when the ICE-3M's headlights are cranked up to full brightness, as was the case for this scene, they barely light up the track in front of you. Meanwhile, at the opposite end of the spectrum, the Talent 2's headlights are way too bright, even on dimmed beam, and the light bleed issue on this unit still hasn't been fixed. Thinking back to the headlights, I would wear eye protection to minimise the brightness, but I'm afraid that I can't wear my sunglasses at night because my name is not Corey Hart. There's also an annoying issue with windscreen flicker on the ICE-3M, which I didn't notice until after the route's upgrade to TOD4 lighting. Another thing I noticed after the update was the ballast textures, which don't appear to match the ground textures, and the immediate trackside foliage could also be improved. Meanwhile, at Langewehe, the passenger information screens don't work on the eastbound platform, and there's an awful lot of missing OHLE near one of the turntables at Köln Depot. Sometimes, the NPCs are nowhere to be seen, and leave stations feeling lifeless as a result. This is another issue that's not isolated to the Köln to Aachen route. As for the frame rate on my end, it averages between 48 and 75 frames per second for most of the route, but it drops to around 30 FPS in the Köln area. In closing, and to be brutally honest, I was left feeling disappointed by the Köln to Aachen remaster, but to be fair to Foley's World, I still appreciate their efforts in updating this route, and I'm grateful for the update being free of charge. I'm mainly disappointed in Dovetail Games themselves, as they marketed this update as if it were a full remaster. Given its lack of TSW6 core features, like announcements, train faults, new suspension physics, etc., I do not think it meets the same high standard set by Mr. Liam's work on Great Western Express. If I could give some advice to DTG, that would be to have a clearly defined set of criteria for what does or doesn't qualify as a full remaster. That way, there should be less of a risk of disappointing your customers/players for the 297 millionth time. In terms of where I now sit on the Schnellfahrstrecke Köln route as a whole, I'm kind of split down the middle. Its saving graces are the big timetable update and good layer integration, so I'll settle for giving it a 6.5 out of 10.